Hello, everyone, and welcome to A View from the SIP. I am so excited to bring on our good friend, Dr. Lane Rowland. How you doing today, Doc? You doing all right tonight, Doc? Can you hear me, Doc? Hey, Tammy, thank you for watching. You can't hear Doc? It's going to work out those issues. Hey, Doc, can you hear me now? So he's going to work out those issues, and we're going to bring Dr. Lane Rowland back. So we want you all to definitely ask questions tonight. Dr. Lane Rowland is a virologist. He is a infectious disease specialist. He has studied infectious disease all around the world. He got his training in the Army, and so this is who I listen to when it comes to the coronavirus, and so we're just so happy to have Dr. Lane Rowland with us tonight. Can you hear me now, Doc?
Okay, I got you back. Got me now?
Yes, I can hear you better now.
Okay, perfect. Let's get this camera right. Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Hey, what's up, Doc? How you doing this evening?
I am fabulous as always. How are you doing, my good friend?
It was super fantastic, like always. Trying to make.
Gotcha. So I was telling the audience a little bit about yourself. So tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get into infectious diseases?
Well, I mean, I've been infectious since I was 5 years of age when I had my first microscope. You remember the kid's microscope, and I saw my first microorganism, seeing things under a microscope, 50 plus years ago. And so it's been who I am since day one, from all the education and degrees and the military and virology. So I'm very happy with where I'm at today. So a long progress, but you know what? I'm at the right moment in my career to be able to save people's lives during a pandemic.
Great. So I want to welcome my co-host, Miss Felicia Brookins. How you doing tonight, Felicia?
I'm doing lovely, darling. May I say you're looking lovely?
So are you, darling?
Hi, special guest. How are you this evening?
I'm doing super fantastic always.
Awesome. Happy holidays from the great state of Mississippi.
Yes, I love it. And so I was just asking Doc a little bit about his background. So feel free to ask any questions you may have. So to get us started off, Doc, tell us about this new variant. Is it what, Omicron?
Yeah, I mean, the Omicron is something I've been talking about for about 2 years. If you know the nature of RNA viruses, you know they mutate. And you guys have already had 2 years of experience with the alpha strain, beta strain, gamma, lambda, L1, R1, go down to different strains. But this Omicron is a changer of all viruses. I mean, period. This virus is unique. It has 50 different mutations, 30 mutations in the spike protein, 10 mutations in the name. It has a concept called epistasis, which has 3 particular genes that code for the ability of the virus to escape the innate immunity, adaptive immunity, and also be able to replicate even more efficient and affect more people with a better transmission. I mean, ball game over with. And this virus, this particular Omicron virus came from a human being versus the other way around where the other the coronavirus have jumped from an animal to a human being. This Omicron is a man-to-man transmission, in particular, a person that had HIV that was immunocompromised.
Gotcha.
Wow. That's interesting. So you said the Omicron came from a human and the other COVID viruses came from an animal. That's wow.
Absolutely. Most pandemics like this one started off always starts in the animal. We call it spillover or spillage. That's the reality. Viruses are in nature in these animals, and man comes in contact with that particular animal through eating it, respiratory, whatever the case is. This particular Omicron virus, because it came from a 36-year-old black female in Africa that had HIV and wasn't taking, didn't have effective antiretroviral medication. So that virus be in her for about almost a year and had the ability to change into what it is today, which is a game changer.
And see, that is just mind blowing that it can be way over there in Africa, and then we talking about it being here in Mississippi. So as crazy as a question sounds, you'd be like, how it get here? How'd it go from her to here?
Well, that's the reality. So, I was on the BNC 2 weeks ago talking about this on prime time of Vermont Hill. And I was telling you guys, it really, a virus could be here today, tomorrow be someplace, because we never had effective isolation or shutdown. As long as we have transportation on commercial airlines, cargo, boats, whatever, the virus is going to be able to be transmitted all over the world. And that's why, when people say it wasn't in America, it was already in America. We just didn't know about it. And that's the reality. And the virus is everywhere on the planet now. And we have to understand with this particular virus, Omicron, there's two versions of it. One version, we can pick it up on test, and the other version of the Omicron, we call it stealth Omicron. We can't pick that up on testing. And so we have a very difficult time in trying to make that diagnosis on people that have the stealth Omicron, because we don't have the testing capabilities yet worldwide to pick this virus up, especially the stealth Omicron.
Wow. Okay. See, I didn't know that. So thank you for sharing that. Let us know. I was not aware of that.
You're learning, aren't you?
Wow. I just go back to staying in.
If you ask what the long-term plan is, I would say who wins the race between the rabbit and the turtle, and the turtle always wins because he's rock steady. We're not going to vaccinate our way out of this, and people, you will make the mistake if you think a vaccine is going to save your life on these mutations. It's not going to happen in a million years. You're going to have to create a new vaccine for every mutation, and you're going to have to make a brand new vaccine for this virus that has 50 different mutations. That is a game changer. Virology, biochemistry, epidemiology, for that virus to be able to have epistasis and be able to adapt to the innate and adaptive immunity, evade that invasive immunity, be able to be more efficient in replication and transmit itself. It goes back to our basic ground game of what we're going to be able to get to the other side, like I always say. That's one, you're going to have to wear a mask. You're going to have to be able to do biosafety, biosecurity protocols and make a bubble. That's just the reality. If you think you're going to get on an elevator, and I promise you, I want you to do that. Hey, get on the elevator, think you're vaccinated, and I'll put 9 people with the COVID virus and have them breathe in your face. You won't be here in 30 days. I can promise you that. Vaccine or no vaccine. So you better make sure you wear a mask, because this virus has 3 major transmission modes: respiratory through the air, secretion, spit, and then we also have fecal transmission, or what we call contact transmission through feces, i.e. you touch the kiosk machine at a bank, i.e. you touch the machine at Walmart to put your, et cetera. Anything you have contact in the general public is a danger to your health. Even exchanging money, you have to make sure that you're disinfecting your hands. So hand management in this world of the new COVID pandemic, you need to make sure that you're wearing a mask, an antiviral mask, making sure that you wash your hands. And definitely from here on out, you definitely going to make sure you have an air purification system in your home or one at your job.
So keep your sanitizer. Don't put it up.
Yes, right. Absolutely.
So we have a question from one of our viewers.
Right.
Dr. Johnson said, what is the probability of experiencing another variant due to another compromised immune system due to various?
Well, that's 100%. It's how the initial alpha strain is really what we call the UK strain. That virus, that UK strain came from a chronically ill patient in UK that had a chronic terminal disease. The virus had the opportunity to be in that human being for a while, adapt to the immune system, adapt to all the things you try to treat it with, from monoclonal antibodies, etc. That virus got to see it, and through natural selection and pressure, it makes that virus mutate. I always ask my students in all my classes I teach in virology or infectious diseases in Peru, in my basic and advanced tropical medicine course, do viruses have a conscience? Do bacteria have a conscience? And now I think the question now, I think people maybe are deciding that viruses must have a conscience to be able to mutate, like this Omicron, have 50 plus mutations, become a little bit more or less deadly, but be able to affect more people. And a lot of people don't realize when it comes to pathogens, especially infectious diseases, pathogens don't want to kill you. The object is to continue to be able to make progeny or make babies to affect other people and keep sustaining itself in the population. When we look at Ebola has 99.9% death rate. You get it, you're out of here. That's a fact. And that's not a very good. It's not a very good agent because it kills everybody too quick. In fact, it kills itself out. Versus something like HIV or the coronavirus, which you have long-term consequences, long-term survivability, and especially through Omicron, the ability to affect more and more people because you can't even pick it up on some of the test platforms.
Wow. You have a question?
What just sitting here blowing my mind is that he said it's got 50 different mutations.
That's right.
This one variant has 50 different mutations.
And don't be surprised next
There's
month.
like 50 different outfits.
Yeah, 50 different outfits.
Killer outfits.
And don't be surprised in a month there'll be a new mutant with 64 mutations. The longer is being attacked, as long as the virus is feeling the pressure, it's going to change. It has to mutate to survive on its own. That is why when you have vaccines themselves in effective treatment, you almost have to have a 100% kill rate. And that's why it's so important that we really understand how do we mitigate, contain, and understand this. When you look at Johnson & Johnson vaccine, it has a 13% vaccine effectiveness.
Right.
Vaccine effectiveness of 45%. And Moderna has a vaccine effectiveness of 54%. That tells you the other percentage of people still getting affected. And that is what's going to drive these new variants and resistant viruses to make our day what it's going to be. That is why we're going to be in this pandemic endemic for at least the next 10 to 15 years minimum.
Oh my God. So does that mean they're going to create like a whole brand new vaccine that you have to get, or are the vaccines that we're getting now?
Yeah, we've already talked.
Yeah,
we've talked about this. The president of Moderna said it last week. You have to create, I've said this for 2 years, guys. You have to create a new vaccine for every new. There's not a vaccine on the vaccine platform for viruses, in particular, this particular virus, the coronavirus, that has the ability to cover every different mutation. It's impossible. So you have to create a vaccine for each of the different variant, which is very cost consuming, takes time, but that's the reality. If you understand the virology and biochemistry of how viruses work, in particular RNA viruses, you understand that it's always a moving part. Nothing's ever what we call static. It's always dynamic. It's always changing. How do you go from Africa, where you have 8% of the continent vaccinated, to an HIV patient that produces the Omicron virus that wasn't vaccinated? to what we have out in the world. So you can imagine if we don't get an effective policy, we're going to have people that are going to have combo infections. They'll be affected with the Omicron and the Delta strain. Maybe they might be affected with the Delta, Alpha, Beta, and the Omicron. So this is the reality that we're living in.
That's incredible.
So, Dr. Lane, talk to us about the vaccine. Like, a lot of people out here are encouraging people to take the vaccine. They have no medical background. They just repeating what they've heard other people say. What are your stands on the vaccine?
I love vaccines. I'm a pro-vaccine guy. Done vaccination programs in the jungles and vaccinated many children and saved lots of people's lives. So I'm a pro-vaccine guy. On this particular vaccine, I'm going to sit on the sideline and see what's going to happen. And we can see how it's playing out now. The numbers and narrative is different. They told you that the vaccine was going to make life better. It hasn't made anything better. In fact, if we look at the cruise ship in New Orleans, the Norwegian cruise ship just 3 days ago, everybody on that cruise ship was vaccinated and everybody was infected with the virus. And there's going to be another pandemic, endemic explosion in New Orleans again because that cruise ship was a super spreader. So it shows you people being vaccinated and still getting infected. You don't have a very good vaccine. It ain't like you get the chicken pox and all of a sudden you got a breakthrough infection. You get the human papillomavirus and you got a breakthrough infection. You get the measles, mumps, rubella, polio, tetanus, diphtheria, whooping cough, you get a breakthrough infection. That doesn't happen when you have a very effective vaccine that's been vetted over time and science and has the credibility of long haul run. What we're doing right now, we're just going by the seat of our pants, hoping that it's going to stick, and that's why the narrative is changing. And the Omicron virus just take anybody that said anything about vaccines to sit down and shut their mouth up because the Omicron nucated your narrative. It's over. Ball game done. You can take that to the bank.
Wow. So to be clear, you haven't taken any of the vaccines?
Nope, man. Only vaccine I've taken, and I've told millions of people that are on the platforms that I've been on for worldwide, the vaccine that I recommend that everybody should get that's going to actually save your life is going to be the Pneumovax vaccine, Pneumovax 23 or 13, which prevents you from getting pneumonia, which is the biggest complication of any respiratory viral infection like the flu or this coronavirus. And so I've gotten the Pneumovax 23. Millions of people have gotten it, and that's my go-through vaccine for the COVID spectrum. And and that vaccine has many years of history, injected in new 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4 years old. Very effective vaccine. That's the vaccine I would recommend. I'm still waiting down the road. If I had the force to take a vaccine, the vaccine I would take if it was in that spectrum would be the COVAX vaccine, COVAXX, which has the most neutralizing antibodies that are produced by any of these vaccines. But that vaccine is not here in the United States yet.
So what about the other vaccine that you just spoke about? Is it available in the United States?
Pneumovax, you can go to Rite Aid, you can go down to Walgreens, you can go to CVS Pharmacy and get it right now. Some people it's for free. You might have to pay a copay, but anybody can get it. You don't even have to have a prescription for it. So
what's the name of it again?
It's called Pneumovax. Pneumonia Vax. The pneumonia vaccine, 23 and 13. And that's what I've told millions and millions of people worldwide, and I will continue to tell people that is a vaccine that's going to save your life. It's going to be the Pneumovax because the Streptococcus pneumonia is what kills you. It's not, you have two types of pneumonia with it. You have a viral pneumonia and a bacterial pneumonia in this spectrum, what we call COVID pneumonia, just like having the flu viral pneumonia, but you can also have an underlying bacteria. So this will prevent you from having the bacterial pneumonia.
So what if someone has gotten the vaccination, the COVID vaccination, and they want to do the Pneumovax 13?
No,
would they be able to do that, or they cannot do both?
Absolutely, no problem at all. In fact, if you got injected today, you wait about 14 days and then get the vaccine. But you can take both vaccines. They're two different platforms. This vaccine is based off a bacterial platform versus the COVID vaccine, which are based off of viral. Viruses versus bacteria. The bacteria is just as much deadlier than the viral in the pneumonia spectrum.
And so you could just go to CVS and say, "Hey, I want to get this Nuvovac 13," and
That's how simple it is.
And when they say we don't know what you're talking about, and I'm going to say, "Look, Doc told me it's real, it exists, and we want it."
YouTube, Google Dr. Chocolate.
I'm about to Google it right now. That is so interesting.
It is.
So I want to ask about some of the misconceptions out here about the vaccine. You know, I've heard that it wasn't safe. Can you talk about whether or not the vaccine is safe? Just tell us some information about the vaccine.
Can you hear me still? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, repeat yourself again. I didn't hear the question. Somebody just called.
Okay. So it's a lot of misconceptions about the vaccine. Is it safe? People's ears gonna fall off in 10 years. So I just want to know,
Well, I mean,
studies about,
The reality is we're still learning about the vaccine. That's the reality. There are a lot of people out there that are in one corner or not. I'm down the middle. I'm gonna call it like it is. But I talked about this on the Black News Channel a year and a half ago about the adverse effects from Bell's palsy to Guillain-Barré syndrome, women having menstrual problems, et cetera, et cetera. These vaccines are going to have complications because of the type of vaccine platform they are. And so you always have to be wary. And that's why anybody that's talking about getting a vaccine or any type of medical Can you hear me still or no?
Okay, now we can.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is that with any type of medical management or vaccines, you need to make sure the most important things that you have informed consent. And informed consent means that they've told you every possible positive and negatives that can happen. When I operate on somebody, I have to tell them, man, you can die from anesthesia, you can have a painful scar, etc. It's the same concept it should be with the vaccine. So if they're injecting you and they pushing this thing, they're saying, man, this is the best thing since Aunt Jemima pancakes, and you have an adverse effect, you need to have the ability to sue that individual or the individual that's pushing on you because they didn't vet it. And so everybody has to have skin in the game because this is not a game. And, there are multiple studies out there, adverse effects in people. And you have to realize this vaccine has not even been out a year. This is one of the few vaccines in the world history where it came to the market so quick. So if that's the case, if that's the new format that we need, I need to go back down to the Amazon jungle, go talk to my shaman, tell him what does he think will work on a virus, and then start telling everybody this will kill the virus. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be in business very long. And so this is why it takes years for vaccines to be vetted, significant clinical trials, understanding the adverse effects, understanding that you 1,000 kids with sickle cell, 1,000 kids with autism, 1,000 Black females in their first trimester, 5,000 Black females that have preeclampsia, 10,000 diabetic patients, 10,000 people with multiple sclerosis. I can go down the line of disease you have to test a vaccine against. Then you come up with what we call that famous word vaccine efficacy and also what we call vaccine effectiveness.
Wow. So much good information.
Yes.
I know just a little bit.
you know just a little bit, Dr. Early. You know a little something.
Yeah, it's the reason why I got 6 degrees. So don't talk to me.
Okay.
So I want to, for those that may be watching and say, who is this guy? He's giving us different information from Dr. Fauci and all these other experts. Kind of talk about your medical background.
I have 6 degrees. Fauci has 2.
Okay.
So tell us, what are these 6 degrees in? What have you studied?
I have 2 medical degrees. I have a master's in cellular molecular biology. I have a BS in microbiology and chemistry, minor in military science. I've taught infectious diseases in the jungles of Peru for the last 20 years. I have teach virology, etc. I'm a surgeon also in infectious diseases, so I operate on people with infections that are paralyzed, diabetics, and name yards. So when it comes to stuff, when it comes to this real infectious diseases, I'm the guy in the jungles that have done malaria clinics, treated people with rabies and dengue and malaria in the actual jungle and not in a textbook. That's one thing about us black folks. We're pretty unique. They set a standard for us. They tell us go get educated. Well, we get educated. Guess what? We have to go a little bit further. And
Right.
I haven't seen too many of these guys in the jungles with me carrying getting out of a boat, humping 8 miles in the jungle, do snakes and mosquitoes, and treat 500, 600 people in a village. I haven't seen those. It's not going to happen in my lifetime.
So y'all see why I listen to Dr. Rowland?
Yeah, because he got 6 degrees and Fauci got 2. That's good enough for me right there.
Well,
That's awesome.
It's true. So, I'm an Army guy. I'm certified chemical and biological warfare. So, I haven't seen too many of these guys in the lane or in jungle boots. Put it that way.
That is awesome.
And I think it's. Go ahead, Felicia.
No, I was just gonna say you definitely taught me something tonight. So I think.
Well, it's always about being educated. Yeah. There was a reason, 2 years ago, I was put on the COVID healthcare task force for the Congressional Black Caucus, and G. Hardaway, sent me I call it a love letter saying, "Doc, we want you to be on our committee." And I go, "Why me? I'm a nobody, man. I've been in the jungles saving children's lives for the last 20 years. That's what I've been doing." And he goes, "Doc, we got to have somebody that looks like you, our skin color, has international experience." And they put me on the Congressional COVID Health Task Force. So I've been on that for 2 years, and we're about to start another part of that. Our second 2 years is to make sure that we help our HIV patients out that have COVID too, because they have a death sentence. And the reality, a lot of people didn't heed the warning that I told people 2 years ago when I was put on the Black AIDS Institute as their science advisor, is that we have to worry about our immunocompromised patient, HIV. And sure enough, John Hopkins came out with the article, people with HIV and COVID, you almost got a death sentence. So we have to make sure that the HIV and immunocompromised people are informed on the education, making sure they have effective treatment, making sure they have effective masks, the world that they live and work in. That's the reality. So I love being on the Congressional Task Force for the country, and I'll be doing it for a couple more years. So sometimes people do the talk, but people can't do the walk, and I definitely can carry the damn backpack.
What you better say it with 6 degrees in it. That's right.
So I remember the last time you was on the show, Danielle said that, the information that you're sharing contradicts what they're putting out in the public. How would you address that?
I don't think my information is not contradicting anything, because I can look up here. I got clinical virology, clinical immunology, medical microbiology, medical parasitology, review of medical immunology, clinical base. And I don't know what book they're teaching out of, but these are the books I teach out of. I don't know what hell the book they use. They would flunk my course.
Now.
Wow.
You show me one of these books that they said, and I would agree with them. I teach stuff. I write test questions for my students, both medical, PhD, and I don't know what the hell they come up with some of the shit they're talking about. I've never. It blows my mind. You just make up shit and put it out there and people believe it.
You're right.
I want to encourage the people that are watching to, type your question below. We want to hear your comments, your question that you have for Dr. Lane Rowland while he's right here, ready to take your questions. So
Sammy,
go ahead.
I was going to say, did you see Sammy's question?
About Dr. Fauci?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I didn't know. Just wondering. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Well, I also want to note that a lot of these doctors are
Okay.
being paid by these pharmaceutical companies.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I mean, that's the nature of the business, guys. Just keep it real. Just don't sugarcoat. That's what that really pisses me off when people try to play this bioethics, humanitarian bullshit. That's a bunch of crap. When they were injecting black people with syphilis and cutting out black females about anesthesia in Alabama,
Okay.
the same people that are preaching that bioethics are some of the most evil people on the damn planet. So you talk about ethics in my face, I'm gonna spit in your face. I'm the wrong.
Okay.
go ahead and
All
tell
right.
the truth and shame the devil.
So I was about to say, you better say that. You just took us to church. Come on now.
It's not about going to church when people can inject black men with syphilis in 40 years and study their genetically formed babies,
Right.
women, and the death rates of the women. What in the hell can you say? So don't talk to me about morality and Fauci and these guys. These guys are being paid like everybody else in the world. So if they're talking out the side of their neck. That's just the reality of the game.
Yeah.
Somebody pays me $1 million, man. I'll tell you, there's a difference between an Oreo cookie and a chocolate chip. If you give me
Yeah.
you give me $1 million, I'll tell you sweet potato pie and pumpkin pie.
It's the same thing. Come on, that's right.
That's
For $1 million.
Brother Samuel X said, what do you know of the relationship between Fort Detrick, Maryland, and the Wuhan lab? I said Wu-Tang. That's funny. And
Dr. J, Wu-Tang. And the Wu-Tang Clan. What's the difference in the Wu-Tang gang?
Well, I've trained at Fort Detrick, Maryland. I have the background. I've had top secret clearance. I've been to Fort Detrick. I'm certified in chemical and biological warfare. Probably 1% of people are certified in that. And relationship between Wuhan is like any relationship with any laboratory in the world. And that's the problem, that these folks have come up with these conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories that put you in a body bag. I've heard everything from this thing came from that. No, it did not. We're very intelligent people. We look at genomic sequence. I can tell if somebody put a Kool-Aid gene in the virus. We can see that. And nothing's been manipulated, just like the Omicron virus has not been manipulated. So that's that conspiracy theory. And that's one thing it's very difficult in especially at the level and the platform I'm at, and I'm trying to educate the people and have some type of faith in the system. When you got, people, talking about conspiracy. I've heard everything from people talking about doing enemas, giving people enemas that got rid of HIV and breast cancer. I've heard people talking about Mother Earth putting dirt on a snake bite. I mean, come on, I've treated snake bite. You go ahead and put some dirt on the snake bite, your ass will be paralyzed. You'll be in the next life talking about dirt. You can meet Mother Earth in person. So I don't get involved in that. I don't want to waste my bandwidth on that stuff. So I try to just keep my books are right here, clinical virology, medical, all the stuff I teach. I stick with I stick with the books. I don't get off that stuff that's not even improving.
So Miss Shirley Harvey said, what is the name of the vaccine that you can get at CVX?
Pneumovax for pneumonia. Just remember the vaccine for pneumonia.
Okay.
Yeah. Pneumovax for
pneumonia.
Gotcha.
And and people, if people really want to do something, they can go to my Instagram, Dr. Rolling, or follow me on Instagram, Dr. Rolling, or Facebook, and I have plenty of information on pneumovax, all the stuff I talk about, plenty of videos. They can go to YouTube and type my name in. It'll be hundreds of videos from MSNBC, all the different platforms that I've been on. So there's a great deal of wealth of information that people can learn, on virology, in particular this pandemic.
Is your Instagram to pay?
No, my Instagram is Dr. Rolling, Doc Rolling, DRROLING, and my Facebook is Dr. Lane Rolling. Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to locate.
I've been right on the money for 2 years. I'm hitting nothing but home run balls. Can you imagine the day I'm wrong? What would happen? Well,
Hey, I've been listening to you, Doc, and so, I know people have been using fear to get people
Mm-hmm.
listen to them, and it have worked. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
you have to know who you are and whose you are, and not just jump when people say jump. And so make sure you get your information from a reliable source. Do some research, read some of these papers.
well, yeah, I have seen 99.9% of these so-called experts. They're not in Germany teaching at the institution. They're not in the Nature of Microbiology magazine with me working on Z patients. I haven't seen them in the OR in the jungles of Peru teaching infectious diseases and being bit by mosquitoes and leeches and all types of stuff. I have not seen these people. So I don't know where they were 2 years ago or 3 years ago, but they damn sure were in the world of real infectious diseases, carrying an 80-pound medical backpack, or operating on a 3-day-old baby, or operating on a paralyzed patient with their ash bones sticking out of their body with feces. I haven't seen folks. That's my world.
Yeah, that's something.
Powerful, powerful, powerful,
It
powerful.
makes people speechless, doesn't it?
You see, I was like 2 seconds, like, yeah.
So, and what about the booster shots? What about the people out there encouraging people to get booster shots? What do you?
I tell people, if it makes you feel good, get the booster shot. A damn bit of difference. I told you guys a year and a half ago, y'all didn't believe me. Y'all gonna get booster shots. Y'all gonna be getting 2-3 booster shots for the next 50 years. I told you guys that, because the vaccine doesn't last that long, doesn't have long life expectancy because of the virus. I don't know if people need to clean their ears out. They definitely need to get the clinical virology and clinical immunology and really study this stuff. And you know what's going to happen. It already tells you what's going to happen. You're not going to vaccinate your way out of this virus because the virus has too many animal models. People talking, well, smallpox, polio. Well, smallpox and polio don't have an animal model to keep the virus population. This coronavirus, we found this virus everywhere from white deers to hyenas to lions, tigers, bears, dolphins, whales, rats, monkeys. This virus ain't going anywhere anytime soon. And that's the basic understanding of virology. People make this misconception. And if you read the Pfizer paper, it tells you that their vaccine only lasts 85 days, and on the antibodies. And that's why you will be getting effective boosters. You're going to have it. And that's the sad thing about it. Your children are going to be having these 2 and 3 booster shots a year, and hope to God that your kid don't have an adverse effect, because the vaccine damn sure ain't going to have an effect on the Omicron. You might as well take that one to the bank. And when somebody can show me that or explain that one, I'll sit down and shut up. But it ain't happening. It's impossible. This is a brand new variant. There's no way to you got a vaccine that has 50 different possible mutations in it. Man, that's Star Trek type of science.
Star Trek type of science. So I had the question: the Nuovax, the one for pneumonia. So do you have to get that? Is that just the same as you would go get it every year?
No, you get it every year. It's a very safe, effective vaccine and stuff. And so somebody threw the question about medical apartheid. That's my book from my class. I teach all my students. I've been using that book for the last 8 years. That is a required reading in my class, medical apartheid. And a lot of people come lately. You don't understand what a medical apartheid is. But for me to teach humanity for my students, especially in my world, I have to have people understand what the effect of what happened with American medicine on Black people, from sticking ice picks in Black boys' eyeballs to scrambling brain up for lobotomies, to cutting out Black females' vaginals without anesthesia, to make white women vaginals more better, to give people syphilis. This is America, and let's keep it real. And so when somebody want to sugarcoat it, that's the problem we have, is the sugarcoatness of our society. Just like, we know that Black babies that are taken care of by white doctors have a higher chance of dying. That's a fact. You can Google that. of our black babies are dying in white man's parents 3 times more likely. You can imagine what your black life at 40, 50 years of age, what the numbers probably, you might have a 40, 50% chance of making it or not. That's that's the systemic racism that we deal with. And it took me many, many years to understand that concept because I was a student of the Kumbaya, drink the Kool-Aid. We're all educated. We're here to like each other. But at the end of the day, we know the reality. Seven out of 10 white people voted for Trump. So that tells you what they think about your black ass.
Now, just don't hesitate to say what you feel. You just put it out, make it plain, Doc.
I think I found the name of this.
You have to.
Am I real? Or you want me to be real?
I want you to be real. I want you to help save some lives. So, sometimes you got to talk hard to people to get the point across. It's just that crucial. It's just that important. Because, it's a lot of people that don't know what you just said just about this vaccine for pneumonia and how much better it is than what we've already been hearing, what's being pushed down our throats already. So,
is that the name of it?
Yeah, that's the name. Pneumovax 23. You have to understand if we're such a kumbaya society, let's keep it real. Tuesday night, where in the hell were they 3 years ago when they were cutting Big Mama's leg off? And when Big Mama needed her diabetic medication, Big Mama needed her high blood pressure medication, where were the people giving all this free care? Were 3 years ago, 10 years ago?
Okay.
And they damn sure weren't around 60 years ago. And so you have to understand the message of who's it coming from. If they're coming from a reality, are they sugarcoating it, or are they going to do that typical stuff they usually do, burn down the neighborhood, and they leave, and you'll never see them again.
Yeah.
So what about the people that's saying that, I can see if it was just giving it to black people, but they're giving it to everybody. So why do you think it's free, and why do you think they're giving it to everybody?
Well, I mean, it's politics behind it, but you have to understand that nobody gave a damn about a black boy dying of Ebola in Africa, or some kid dying from malaria or dengue in the jungles of Peru, or some Chinese kid dying from a respiratory disease. Only reason where people are concerned about this disease is because this disease is an equal opportunity employer. Doesn't care white ass, your Chinese butt. This disease kills everybody equally. And when stuff starts affecting white people, that's when this will come to a call of duty. Just like the crack epidemic. You remember back in the 80s and 90s, they were throwing black people in jail left and right for minor. And all of a sudden, these white boys got this met problem. Now it's a medical problem.
Right.
They need to throw their ass in jail like they were throwing black people in jail left and right. But all of a sudden, now it's a medical problem. So it shows you the hypocrisy. And I'm too old. I'm too old to sugarcoat shit anymore. I'm sorry, man. I'm just not that.
You're just not that guy. That's right.
I get 70. I guess I'm gonna be telling everybody what I really think.
At least they know they'll get the truth.
You damn
real
right.
Facts.
I don't got time to play with these guys, man. I've already.
I appreciate you, Doc. And I'm glad our path, cross, so that I can get the right information. I appreciate our time together with last summer, and I learned a lot from you. And that's why, I called on you and I asked you before I, take any of this advice that people putting out on the news.
I've already played that game, man. I'm the product of the American system. The white teacher telling me when I was 5 years old, I was special ed, I was retarded. The white teacher, I didn't have the aptitude to go to medicine. The white teacher that wrote a negative letter when I graduated from college, and that probably got me out of a lot of programs. But hell, I got 6 degrees now. So what happened to the white man's prediction?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's right. Beat all the odds at least 6 times.
That is so inspiring. So inspiring.
Yes.
Well, I mean, the point is that we need to have more black kids. We have to have more people of color going into science and medicine. And I hope I've been a great example of that, taking students from all the HBCUs that have trained with me in Peru in my hospitals, delivering babies, seeing infectious diseases. You guys can read the articles. the Alabama State students that are delivering babies at 18 years of age and operating on with me in the OR, are all the students going to the jungles and help me treat these folks that don't look like them from all types of diseases. I think I've done my job in promoting and trying to implement the positive attitude that Black kids can go into science and be successful at it and can be enthusiastic about it. And that's the way it is. Like I tell people, I'm not a Michael Jordan. I tell people I'm a nobody. I can't dunk a basketball, but I damn sure can dunk a virus. I can finger roll a virus, and I'll shoot a virus all day long, 3-point. I won't miss.
Wow. Wow. And I just think it's so awesome that, you actually study infectious diseases, and then you have these doctors who are family doctors, or they may be, whatever they specialize in, but now they encouraging people to take the vaccine.
My sister's chief of OBGYN, Dr. Gaynell Rowland at Baylor University. My sister tell you she don't know shit about diseases, viruses. Big brother knows it. So when you got these folks that are OB doctors jumping into virology and family practice guys, they need to sit down and shut the hell up. They don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what class they took, what program. They damn sure don't got the background or the pedigree I got. And they damn sure don't got a master's degree. And damn sure, like I said, this is the reality. That's the problem that we have. People need to be in their lane. It's a difference between virology, epidemiology, infectious diseases versus somebody family practice. I mean, it's like a plastic talking about, mutations, virus. And they never been to the jungles or never been into a laboratory or never even seen a virus under a microscope.
And most Black people don't even understand that when they hear that a person is a doctor, they think that they know about, all medical, background, which is not the case. I'm a doctor, but that doesn't mean that I know about all these infectious diseases, so people specialize in what they specialize in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do brain surgery. I can do foot ankle reconstruction. I can do wound care. I can do skin grafts. Well, that's my specialty, fractures. But I'm not a heart guy. I'm not a heart guy, and I never pretend to be a heart guy. But when it comes to infectious diseases from tuberculosis, malaria, Zika, and every damn disease on the planet, I teach this stuff. You're on my back. You're on my car now. I'm the one driving, and you're the one in the back seat with your seatbelt buckled up.
Yes. That's all right. But once you educate, you saving lives and opening people's eyes and ears so they can see or hear and get the truth. And then it means so much when it comes from somebody that looks like you. I think that helps to make people in our community maybe be more open to hearing and receiving what you have to say.
That's the reason why I'm over Healthcare Task Force. That's why I'm on the Urban League Healthcare Task Force. That's why I'm on the Black AIDS Institute Healthcare Task Force. That's why I'm nominated Global Humanitarian of the World, because I'm the guy, the hot zone. I'm the guy in the bush with Big Mama's house in Little Rock, Arkansas, or Big Mama's house out in rural Mississippi, Alabama, sitting on a porch while she's chewing snuff, talking to her about it.
What you know about this? Spin it 100 feet on a bug, knock the bug out. Yes.
So I'm a little bit from a lot of folks. I'm a country boy from Louisiana, and I left the plantation a long time ago.
Okay, that's
right.
All right.
That's right. And some people still on the plantation getting paid by them plantation dollars, and they are okay with it.
Well, for each his own. I respect them.
This is some good information.
So do any of our viewers have any other questions while we have Dr. Lane on the line? We have just a few minutes left. And so I did want to get any questions that you all may have.
Hey, well, we got the expert.
I know.
The real expert.
Also, Dr. Samuel said, I'm making Brother Samuel doctor. He said he would love to see you at the Nubian Leadership Circle.
Tell him, don't talk it, make it happen.
I love it.
Make it happen, brother.
Sammy, he said, don't talk about it, be about it.
So let's make it happen. Any other questions and comments for Dr. Lane Rowland, virologist, infectious disease specialist? How
Yes.
many people y'all know can say that?
Right,
They
especially
said
in chocolate. What you say?
it.
What
I
you
just think
say?
that's so cool.
Hi,
I
guys.
think that's so awesome. It is. The only thing I can say is, honey, you educated me, so you good as educated the Brookins household. We're gonna make sure as soon as we get everybody together to be at CVS, we're gonna have us a weekend outing.
I know that's right. I
Yes,
know
that
that's
and go take care of that because I had no idea that anything like that existed. And with his expertise and background and experience, how could you not, you know, feel secure in what he has to say? So
So,
that's
but what do you
definitely
think about what you just heard, Felicia?
it's I feel like I just walked into a room of something totally brand new from everything else has been loaded into my head. It's like somebody peeled back an onion and you were like, wow, that's, or open old gift box and said, that's what's in there.
Okay.
I mean,
Can you
talk
guys
about
hear
it.
me or
'Cause
no?
sometimes you say you're just ignorant. I'm just ignorant.
I
Yeah,
can't hear
I have
you.
no idea.
Okay,
So
I'm gonna
I'm,
come back in and come back out. Okay, I
oh,
can't
okay.
hear
He
you.
couldn't hear.
Okay.
Okay.
yeah, I can hear
I'm
you.
appreciative of it. Um, I appreciate the platform that we had the opportunity to even have him on for people to get educated. This is so crucial and so needed. So, thank you for getting him to be on this platform, especially on a view from the SIP, because they think Mississippi don't know anything anyway. But look at this great platform we got to educate people of something this important and this serious, and it's life saving. I mean, you talk about say you got to save lives to be to change lives. So,
Amen.
you
Amen.
know,
And what's really cool about Doc, this is he's been on my other shows as well. He actually contacted me about coming on this show. And I just think
that's
that's really
good.
cool, that he liked to be on the ground with the people.
Yeah.
He's been to the Delta, been to Lexington, Chula.
Okay.
He's not only just talking about it, he goes there. He know about it. So I just think that's so awesome.
And that even more shows the compassion and the sincerity of it. And on the side of just joking, when he said efficacy, I can't get it. It made me laugh. Dr. Jason, do you even know what that means? Do you know what that means?
So I'm glad you brought that
It was
up.
another episode.
Since we get to Doc, so which one is more effective or have the most efficacy? Is it Moderna or Pfizer?
Well, I mean, the vaccine effectiveness of Johnson Johnson is 13%, Moderna 4%, and Pfizer 45%. In my educational world, that's an F.
Wow. Wow.
Give those percentages again.
13% Johnson Johnson, Moderna is 54%, and Pfizer is 45%. Vaccine effectiveness, and that is out of the latest study out of the VA hospitals where they injected all these veterans.
Wow.
This is the reality, and that's a big difference between. I get on there and I say I have a vaccine efficacy of 98%. That don't mean shit until you put it in the real world.
Right.
That Big Mama, and you got Big Susie who has rheumatoid, and you inject Big Auntie that has a triple bypass, and you inject Uncle Todd that has a heart lung transplant, and you inject Johnny that got HIV. Your damn numbers.
They pretty much talking about subjects that didn't have any preconditions.
No,
Yeah.
there is no study out there that does that because they would never get passed. When you look at the
Wow.
initial Pfizer clinical trial, they're all white people from Germany. That's the reality.
Wow.
Not
Wow.
one person. And when you read the parentheses, Doc, it says right in their own paper that they did not test black people, minorities, pregnant female, pediatric, old people, or people with immunocompromised disease. They were going to do that in the field. And so you guys are the guinea pig.
The guinea pig.
So why you think other doctors not saying this? Why they not telling? Oh, you are guinea pig.
I don't know, and I love all doctors, and I respect all doctors. But hey, man, my backpack and my jungle boots is a lot different. My path is a lot different in their world. I'll leave it at that.
Wow. That is awesome. I just, that's incredible to know that they only, but it's not surprising that they only tested,
Well,
those that they consider to matter. And like you said, we've always been the guinea pig, our community and our people. We always been the guinea pigs. So, and then we're the guinea pigs, but yet a lot of people in our community suck up. They come to the trout and just eat it up as soon as it come out of the mouth of somebody else that doesn't look like you.
Well, what I say, they drink the Kool-Aid without sugar.
Right.
I want them to stop following Jim Jones.
I was about to say it.
Just because Jim Jones is giving you $1 million don't mean you go out in your community and tell them, oh, take the vaccine, because you're getting paid to do so.
Well, I mean, that narrative is gone. That they have no credibility at all because of the Omicron. The Omicron is a kryptonite. What can you say? You can't say anything. What narrative, what lie are you going to tell now? The lie is this clinical virology book. It's clinical immunology. This is the truth. So what's your narrative now? We already told you what's going to happen. A scientist, as a real virologist. So what do you say? Well, the vaccine, what's the excuse? What's the excuse when you're putting some kid in a body bag or some mother in a body bag and you tout something that doesn't have the credibility it has? And that's why you have to continue to be unvaccinated or vaccinated. You need to continue to wear a mask and do all the biosafety and security protocols to protect yourself. You have to create that bubble. This is your new norm, folks. I'm sorry, but this is your reality for the next 50 years.
And so as we get ready to close tonight, that's exactly what I'm going to ask you to do, Doc, to give people ways that they can keep themselves safe from these viruses and the other mutations.
Well, the reality is you need to make sure that you guys are wearing a proper mask, an antiviral mask. I don't care if you're vaccinated or unvaccinated. You want to play that game? I love to test people. I'll put your butt in the elevator. Please don't wear a mask, and I'll put you in there with 9 people that have COVID, and your ass will be in a body bag for 30 days. You want to make a bet on that one? We can test the germ theory. Do you want to play that conspiracy theory? Okay, you better wear a mask. You better wash your hands and make sure that you're not touching things in the public space without protection, i.e. kiosk machines, i.e. ATM machines in banks or gas pump. Anything that the public people touch, you have to be wary of your hands because they're contaminated. Be careful when you're touching money because money is a nice vector for transmission of disease. Make sure you wear your shoes in the house. Make sure you have great antiseptic hand wash and hand antiseptic desanitizer to disinfect your homes and protect yourself. Make sure you have a good air purification unit if you're at your job with a lot of people, or even one for your home that has somebody sick that's in your home. That'll decrease the amount of viral load in the air. So this type of bubble stuff is what you need to continue to do, and reach out to me if you need this type. You can go to our website, or you can go to our website to pay about biosafety security, and we have every technology on the planet that you can get, from antiviral masks to food sanitizers to disinfect your food. And that's at tapetobiosecurity.com.
Wow. This has been great, Doc. We really appreciate you, and we can't wait to have you back on A View from the SIP. Thanks so much, Doc.
Back in about a month, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about with the Omicron. You're going to be, the light is turned on and all the cockroaches are scrambling because they went down a road that they shouldn't have went down. They should have stuck with the what? The clinical what?
Virology. The clinical virology. You got to pull that one out so I can get the photo on it and tell them, look, you should have stuck with this right here. That right there.
Wow.
And the other one they need to definitely read.
That's a thick book.
What is that?
Clinical immunology. Yeah.
Oh,
see,
wow.
I flunk his class because I can't spell. Hold it back. Let me see. Let me get the name again. He'll be like, you can't even spell it. You sure you want to take my class? That is awesome. Okay.
Here's the other one again.
Wow.
So when these fools read these books and they take my class, let me know. But if they're talking out of this or this, I don't know what world they're talking out of.
Wow.
Well,
wow,
Dr.
wow.
J, we need to just enroll on an online course, just to get all this knowledge right here.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna put together a workshop, and we're gonna, just bring some people in and let Doc just
take
teach
a course. That's right.
Well, you guys set it up. I do teach. You go to our CapedaBiosecurity.com. I teach a short course in microbiology every month. We have a 5-week short course every hour and a half night on microbiology, epidemiology, virology. For me and my guys from the CDC, we teach you guys basic microbiology because people has to become a microbiologist now because we're dealing with an infectious disease that it's going to change your life. Everybody's got to have some type of basic information.
Wow.
That's good stuff.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us tonight, and thank you for sharing your knowledge with us.
Thank you for having me. I hope I wasn't too strong, and if I offended anybody out there, I don't care. I'm sorry.
Hey, if it'll save their lives, offend them. You rather be offended than in the ground. You want to be cold or you want to be offended? Which one you want?
I think people want to be alive.
I enjoyed having you on the show, and I learned a lot. Just know that.
Thank you very much.
I'm glad you was able to make it.
Yes, I am too. And I'm telling you, the whole Brookins family, the whole household, we going to CVS.
Well, if somebody says something to you, you need to say, have you read the clinical immunology book, clinical virology?
Right. I'm going to say it's the purple one, the 4th edition. Yeah, that one. Did you read that?
And I can tell you right now, they don't have it.
Well, I'll pull it up and show them the picture. This book right here. And the face of the man who told you need to read this because you don't know what you're talking about. So thank you for helping to for caring enough to help save lives in the Black community. In our communities, not just ours, but of course we know how they treat ours. So
yeah. Ladies, I'll see you guys in about 6 weeks to set it up. It'll be interesting to see what the world's looking at like in 6 weeks.
Wow. Thank you so much for coming back to A View from the SIP. We appreciate you.
Good night,
guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night. Super good, Dr. J. Super good.
No problem.
That was great.
Problem.
I'm gonna make sure I share the whole. I'm gonna share this video most definitely.
Yep. And so next week we have Dr. Omowale Akintunde. Okay. He is a former professor from the University of Omaha. He's an Emmy winner. He took a group of kids to Obama's first inauguration and they filmed it and he won an Oscar. When I tell you the knowledge and information that this man has, and he's entertaining, I just can't wait. He was with us the whole hour and he's going to talk about being Black in America.
Oh, yes.
So make sure you all tune in next week. You are in for a treat. It's going to be some people who are going to be feeling some type of way after that.
Well, our folks been feeling some type of way since way back when, like 16, 19, 1800s up in there. We've been feeling some kind of way. So you'll be all right.
Well, thank you all again for tuning in to A View from the SIP. I hope you all learned something. Definitely share this podcast and tune in next week. Same time, same place.
All right.
Have
a good evening.
All righty.
To stay informed about what's happening right here in Jackson, Mississippi, keep it locked to A View from the SIP.